Chapter 2 of the Proud Boys Expose, we zero in on the independent chapters and the members themselves to reveal the inner workings of the fraternity and how the 2022 version of the club compares to the irreverent drinking fraternity we heard Gavin McInnes describe in Chapter 1. Now, in journalism, it's always preferred to get your information from an original source. So let's just ask some Proud Boys what it's all about.
Gabriel, welcome. Thank you so much for taking this call today.
Thanks, Tim, for having me here.
Well, how did you first find out about the Proud Boys?
Well, it was through a friend that you, Enrique, a mutual friend, and he told me, he's like, hey, you're a veteran. This is great, goofy organization. I mean, at the time, it was nothing. Tell you, at least my experience with the Proud Boys, I joined around 2017, and here from the original chapter, which was called Vice City, and that was with Enrique Tario. Been part of that group for pretty much quite some time, and we're not a militia like the media would like you to think. We're definitely not white supremacists or fascists. And so some people on the left just throw that term out there, fascist, pretty loose and without even knowing the meaning of it. And one of the big things is, tell you the truth, what I've seen through all these years, and I think I definitely am qualified to speak on my experience with this, is we'll just shoot the crap once a month, have a couple of beers, and just talk, and that's pretty much it. That's it in a nutshell. A lot of us are veterans, love our country, support our First Amendment right, support the right to bear arms, and believe in having the housewife if they don't want to work. Like back in the days, raise the kids, and we don't see nothing wrong with that as well. One thing that I've noticed, the media always thinks we're organized as under leadership, very well structured, which is not the case here. Pretty much all of the chapters are autonomous. We'll have a president that helps facilitate when we do meetings, but we're all seen as brothers, equal, or we don't pull rank on anyone. And that's pretty much the gist of the Proud Boys. We're not this militia or this very well organized oiled machine that the media might have you believing. That's definitely not the case here.
Today I'm talking with Jimmy Brett. And so, Jimmy, welcome to the show, buddy.
How you doing?
It's a good day in the neighborhood. Jimmy, I know you're associated with the Proud Boys here in Clearwater. Tell me a little bit about how you learned about them and how you joined.
It's kind of a funny story. I was trolling some people on Facebook, and I made a comment about Antifa and the level of corruption there. And this one guy that I had actually interned with, he said, well, you can't talk about Antifa and not talk about the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. And I was like, well, who the hell are these guys? So I went on and I looked at the Boogaloo Boys, and they're just a train wreck. And then I watched a video that Gavin McInnes put out. He was speaking at an event describing the Proud Boys. And he just nailed everything that I believed in. And I literally hopped on the website after watching that video and applied for membership, applied to join, and got a call back. And the rest is history. And at the root of everything, we're a men's drinking club. We get together, we get the hell out of the house, we enjoy brotherhood, camaraderie. We get to vent about what's going on at home, and we get to have some adult beverages.
Well, that's what I was going to say. A typical chapter meeting is like everybody hanging in the garage with warm beers.
Pretty much. So it's just boys being boys. So
today we're speaking with Ethan Nordian. You may have heard some of our other interviews. It's more like a brotherhood than anything else. And so Ethan's going to tell us a little bit about how it got started and a little bit about where they are today as an international group.
Well, it started back in 2016. A lot of people don't know, but it kind of started as a joke, really. Gavin McInnes had this idea of creating a fraternity kind of out of a joke. And it really kind of just spiraled into something that a lot of guys really kind of took seriously. That I believe, because there's just kind of a You know, there's a lack of men's groups in this country, really all over the world, and I think it was filling a void. You only had the only prerequisites is that you were born a man and that you believe that Western culture is the best. You know, Western culture has brought about some of the greatest nations in the world, the history of the world, and there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. But yeah, you know, the political activism is really a very, very small piece of what we're about. It's really about the betterment of men, making each other better, and giving each other a sense of belonging and camaraderie amidst, you know, a culture that wants to, you know, demasculinize men and tell you that you're not, you know, supposed to be proud of yourself. And we do a lot of community events, but we mostly do a lot of, you know, camping trips, things like that, and just gathering, getting out and going having a beer with the guys. That's most of what we do right there.
I've seen you guys raising money for
What's that?
Christmas. I've seen you guys raising money with bike runs and charities all over the country, and raising money for kids during Christmas time, and Toys for Tots. So you guys, as an organization nationally, which even though you're just organized by, you know, chapters who are independent, you guys are doing an awful lot of good. But it's not just the USA anymore, Ethan. Now, when I was doing my searches, I'm finding branches in Germany, I'm finding branches in Canada, in England. Actually, it's become rather international as an idea. And again, I think people misunderstand the concept of the word chauvinistic. There is male chauvinism. That's when people are focused only on the supremacy of a male concept. But Western chauvinism is about the ascendancy of Western civilization and people being proud of being part of that heritage. So, you know, I wonder exactly, you know, how the idea of a chauvinistic, you know, group suddenly became a misogynist group.
Right. Yeah. It's the continual behavior of the left to take one piece of information and spin it into something else. But I think people that know us or have had any interaction with us know better. And you know, it's in our bylaws. Everything is in our bylaws. People are free to look at our bylaws and judge for themselves. You know, we literally say anti-racism, but we also say, you know, anti-racial guilt. You know, we're not going to feel bad for who we are. We refuse to apologize for being who we are, and we think anybody should just take that stance, no matter where, you know, whatever walk of life you decide to pursue, as long as it falls within the confines of, you know, something that can coexist with other Americans and ideologies. But it's really, it really has, the left has really taken a simplified ideal and overcomplicated it to the max. I don't think we can become any more simple and easygoing as, you know, as we've become. There are groups out there that are radical, and, you know, we've had interactions with them, but they're very few and far between, and they're definitely not a threat to the United States democracy or anything like that.
You know, I think people maybe also misunderstand the way chapters are organized and managed, and that they are truly independent groups, just like a Saratoga Club or something. You may have common ideals, but many chapters have their own logos and they're very differentiated, and they don't really answer to a national organization, if I understand that correctly. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's accurate. We believe in chapter autonomy. You know, just kind of like every state should be able to represent itself. You know, but we did have an elders chapter that was basically just to oversee the organization as a whole, to just make sure that they were all abiding by, you know, the bylaws that we all follow. So it's kind of like having a constitution that each state follows, but they operate under their own kind of style and, you know, how they want to run things as an individual chapter. As long as they follow, you know, the guidelines, you know, they don't become something else.
Well, it seems it's rather inclusive. I know that people are joking about, oh, they have strange initiation rites. Well, let's talk about that. I think the first initiation rite is simply you believe in the concept of Western chauvinism and you're unapologetic about it. And you share some of the beliefs that I think would make up a MAGA person, somebody who believes that America comes first and that there are values here that are unique in the world. And I think that's it, right? You want to be a first degree Proud Boy, all you have to do is join in and basically agree with those concepts, and you can be part of it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, it's being a patriot is essentially what it is. We use the word Western chauvinist, and again, everything we really kind of started out as kind of a joke. You know, Gavin, the way his style is, you know, he likes to use special words, funny words, or abrasive words even. And a lot of this is to kind of troll the left a little bit because they don't really understand things. They're not very logically minded people. And so they have these little outbursts when they don't understand certain words, and they automatically go to white supremacy. So that's kind of like the reasoning behind using some of the words that we use. But essentially what it is we are a drinking club, you know, get together every once in a while, a group of men, that's kind of the origin, that have a patriot problem. You know, we're very patriotic. And so naturally when we go to these events, it's very easy to recruit because everybody is basically on the same page as us. You know, we believe that we should be able to stand up for our rights, especially free speech and our Second Amendment. But we also don't like the idea that, you know, people like Antifa can show up and intimidate people and the government doesn't do anything about it, or the police don't do anything about it. So naturally, we feel kind of obligated as men in our community to do what we've done. But, you know, obviously it doesn't end there. We expand on a lot of different areas, but that's pretty much, you know, the basis of why we've excelled to where we're at now.
But yeah, we want to, and there's nothing wrong in my eyes with preserving the Western culture. You know, I teach my kids to love our country and never take a knee before our flag, and always say the pledge with conviction. These are things. It's so sad when you look. They're trying to make girls out of our boys and boys out of our girls, and these kids are so confused. They need leadership by good, strong men. And when you have a good, strong man in the household, chances are there's an even stronger woman in back of him. One of our tenets is to venerate the housewife. So we hold wives in the highest of esteem.
What's your experience? You started in 2017. You've been working with them for a while. What all have you done with the Proud Boys as a group? Anything?
Well, we have done community work where we help out in the community. We have done a toy drive with motorcycle clubs. The last one we did was a very successful toy drive that we have. We try to help out. I know some of the guys up a little bit further north in West Palm Beach will help out with feeding the homeless and in their churches. And that's pretty much what we do. We started speaking up more. We're not really the rally type into the whole thing happened with Trump, and some of us don't even like going to rallies. It's all right to be a strong alpha male and be a family man, and we don't see nothing wrong with that as they keep tearing that down.
Well,
And we have gone to school board meetings and helped parents that the same government here says they're considered terrorists and wants to put them on watch lists and all kinds of crap like that. And we go because I know Antifa shows up sometimes and gives these parents a hard time.
well, it's a fight for America going on right now, and it sounds to me like the Proud Boys are on the right side. I hope everybody will do a little more research and stop listening to the lies and the slanders. Maybe shake one's hand one day and ask them how they are and who they are and what they do, just like Gabe has told us today. This is not a dangerous organization. It's not a militant organization. It's not a armed and radical anarchistic organization. It's a group of guys who like to get together and have some beers. And if you're one, heads up, thumbs up to you, brother. Thank you, Gabe. I really appreciate you helping set the record straight tonight. We're going to listen to other PBs as we go through this series so that you get a cross section of America telling you exactly who and what the Proud Boys are and what their purpose is in life, which is to be guys. Thanks again, Gabe. God bless you, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tim, for having me.
So there you have it, straight from the Proud Boys' mouth. This is who they are. It's a male fraternity and drinking club. But they do have another side. They're charitable. They believe in America. They're patriots. They believe in family. That all sounds so suspicious. In our next segment, we're going to explore a little bit more about the political side and the way the mainstream media aligns them with their favorite targets. Stay tuned.